This review is a special request by someone who calls himself Master of Chaos Julio. I'm reviewing Beetlejuice. This is another game by LJN. I swear, this company has a worse reputation than even O.J. Simpson. Alright, let's begin. So I have a jump and what the hell was that? I fell through the floor by pressing down and B? It's just ridiculous. By the way, what was that? I can't even kill the spider. I jumped on, I took damage. It's just terrible. I think I also kicked him once and I died. I mean, this doesn't make any sense at all. One time, you see that leg right there, right? I ran right through the leg and got myself killed. Anyway, for a while I was stuck about where to go, but I realized the key, I need to go into this door. Oh man, this game is so bad, I swear. Well, here's the next part. Okay, so I gotta avoid these lasers. Hit the switch there. That stopped the lasers from moving. What you can get hurt by those flames, and I think you can even get hurt by the flower too. Man, I feel so sorry for any fans of that Beetlejuice cartoon, including myself. I mean, this is just painful to watch. Alright, more lasers. Damn it. Now you have these pots that shoot these things at you. Alright, I'm gonna try to go a little bit more. This is just so horrible, I swear. Alright, I gotta get that thing. Alright, the switches basically lower the cloud so you could go on to the next part of this area. I gotta get the next switch and avoid this shark. Alright, I got it. That was really cheap. I mean, how are you supposed to even see that? It's just terrible draw distance there. Got hit before I could even react. Well, I better time this correctly. And yeah, I forgot about that damn torch. I mean, what were they thinking? Having a torch actually hurt you? That should be in the background. I mean, this is ridiculous. Let me just get this book. Yeah, this game should be destroyed, I swear. Alright, so now I exit. Alright, now I got... Oh, come on, now I got the spider right by the legs. This is horrible. Wow, you could actually kill an enemy by jumping on them? That's a surprise. How about letting me buy a better game instead of this piece of crap? It's terrible. I don't even know if it's worse than Heavy Nova. You be the judge of that. And I just got killed there. I'm quitting this. This is too painful. Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games. Alright, the name of this next game is Wolf Child. I'll try to do some different things to spice things up. I hope you enjoy. Alright, here's the first line. Okay, let's begin. We're an airship apparently. What the hell? They're going backwards after you push them. They're on an airship, so it doesn't make any sense. They should go to the right after you stay there instead of have this stupid delayed reaction. Well, here's the wolf form. All you do is run fireballs instead of that lame punch that gets so repetitive after a while, but still it sucks. But the wolf can't even move any better than the human version of this guy. It's ridiculous. Well, I missed that jump. Let's try it again. Okay, so I made it through there. Watch this. Fight these guys again. Got one jump and shooting. Unfortunately, I run out of power, so I gotta work to my shooting things. I thought this was burning. Now all I gotta do is keep punching, but it looks like I'm jumping. Alright, I'm taking on the boss. Keep attaching the kill. This game is terrible. Well, hopefully I won't get hit too many times. Oh well, at least I beat the level. On to the next level. In case you were wondering, I review these games because some of them are pretty good, but a lot of these old classics are bad. Some people think that all classics are bad, but I only have one thing to say about that. Objection! That's right, objection. A lot of these games are pretty damn good, like X-Men, Mutant Apocalypse, Rolling Thunder 2, Super Punch-Out, Mega Man and Days, and a bunch of other ones. Magical Poppin' is unreleased, but that's good. Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games. And to think for the minecart in Arcade's Revenge will come in only if you run to the left. Now how was I supposed to know that? Anyway, here is Athena, the next game I am reviewing. This game I think makes Arcade's Revenge look fair, but I find that to be a weird intro. She just jumps. Anyway, the game I'd say is really wasted potential, but they screwed up so badly I wouldn't put this under best of the least. I mean, basically, you get these weapons as you progress through the game, but unfortunately, you get weapons downgrades later on. I'll mention that in a little while. Anyway, you get a assorted group of weapons, but there is one main problem with this game, is that it controls badly. I thought Cyclops controlled poorly in Arcade's Revenge, since when you duck, you gotta push up in order to start moving again. I found that to be pretty crappy, but in this game, Athena does a low jump and a high jump, and as you see here, these green enemies are respawning so fast that they make Ninja Gaiden's hogs look fair. It's just ridiculous. And this is the first level. Even Ninja Gaiden wasn't this cheap on the first level. I can't stand this game. I guess I was kind of lenient on it at first because I didn't think that it would be so bad, but then I just played it, and right here I'm running out of real estate and I just got killed. This game makes Arcade's Revenge, which I showed that cheap ceiling falling on me, look fair. It's just ridiculous. And here's a part where I skipped ahead in the game to show the problem with the weapons upgrade, which I got right there. I had a beam sword, which was good, and replaced with this useless hammer. And here's another crappy part right here. All these horses coming at me. I can't do anything about this. And I'm just getting beaten up there. At least they can't jump back up, but that was a cheap thing to do. And the boss, I'd say, I didn't really give it much of a chance, but this game's so frustrating, I don't see any point in doing so. And I do a jump here, and the thing carries me over, and I thought those things would kill me, but I got killed anyway by this fact that there's no invincible barrier. Just when I thought English couldn't get any worse than this, the four monsters loosed upon the world a beast that could turn humans to stone. It should be the four monsters cut loose upon the world a beast that could turn humans to stone. This was from the game called Fire Striker. I kind of like that game, but that's bad English. Anyway, here's some worse English. Taggin' Dragon. Yes, that's the name of the game with one G. These idiots could not spell the game right. I mean, I've heard of people not proofreading, but come on, it's a title for crying out loud. Anyway, this game is bad. The problems with this game are pretty easy to figure out. For one thing, you can't turn corners well. Another thing is that when you try to bite the lion's tail, dragons, they look like freaking lions. Bad graphics. Oh wow. Anyway, you bite the lion's tails and most of the time it'll miss, or sometimes, as you see there, you can go right through them and bite them. Don't play this game. It's just terrible. I'm going to show some more footage to go into it, just to show how a couple levels are beaten. There's that lamp that I got earlier in the level where basically I could break through some walls, but the problem is, as I said before, when you try to turn, if you're not completely out of the area, you will not be able to turn. Like you saw how I had to slow down there, stop moving, move a little forward, and then turn. That's just terrible. I think of Pac-Man, which had a bunch of lanes, but it was controlled very well. This game, however, is just really bad. Games, I swear, they're just flat out bad. Another thing that I find to be kind of annoying about this game is, for one thing, you kind of move at the same speed as your opponents and you're outnumbered, so you're gonna have to get lucky, I guess, if you want to bite these enemies. Plus it takes a few times to take out one of them. So I really don't think anyone should play this game. It's just atrocious, man. I think this game is just terrible, and just play anything else over this. And you see over there, I'm trying to bite the lion, or yeah, I'll call it a lion because it looks more like a lion than a dragon, and I'll miss even though I went past it half the time. This game I'm reviewing is Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge. It is the absolute worst game I ever played. I say it a lot, but every time I find something terrible, I find something even worse. I doubt I could outdo myself in finding bad games as this one. Although you play as 6 characters, the story is basically winning a tournament. So that's nothing special. And all you do pretty much in this game is scroll through text, since you're not really playing it. You make a battleship deck and you pretty much watch your navies attack. You can't really play or anything. The chips are chosen randomly. The only thing you can do is when that percentage you see is at the bottom of the screen, when it fills up, you can choose a couple of chips to play, but that's not really doing anything. I call this a mod of I Declare War. I have more strategy playing Go Fish or fighting those bosses and bad dudes than with this game. Just don't play it. It's just a mindless game. I don't think there's anything of any value in this game. It's terrible, especially when compared to any kind of game in the series. They just made this to milk Mega Man, and it's why I call Capcom Crapcom in my Marvel Superheroes review. Thank you for watching. This is one of the worst games I've ever played, Tower of Druaga. I thought that it was bad when games like the old RPGs like Phantasy Star 3, for example, you cannot move fast at all. But this game's even worse. You move ridiculously slow. I don't think I've even played a game where you walk even slower. Your sword slash is a joke. It takes forever to load the levels, as you can see here, which is even more absurd because it's an NES game. And another problem with the sword slash is that you only move. It takes 2 seconds to do, and it has like no range. So you have to basically take baby steps to just get into the proper range to hit the damn slime to hit anything without getting yourself killed. And it's horrible. I think this might be one of the worst games I ever played. Basically, to complete the levels, you have to find the key and then go up to the door to finish the levels and go on to a new floor. This is just, I swear, I think it's definitely the worst game I ever played. I mean, at least with the RPGs, you're kind of playing it more for the story than the gameplay, so even if you tolerate slow movement, you can at least forgive it maybe. But here, no, I don't think it's possible to forgive that. I mean, I struggle when RPGs have you move slow, but this is even worse since it's an action game. And I'm done with this. I also forgot to mention that the levels are randomly designed and it's impossible to gauge your sword, I think, when you're facing up. I'm done now. And I thought literally sodomizing enemies in the corner was the worst concept ever. Well, here is WarioWare Incorporated Mega Micro Games. In this game, Wario decides to basically make a bunch of mini games to make money, and knowing Wario, who's a greedy bastard, he's gonna rip you off. At least he ripped me off. Let's begin with Gundam Wing Endless Duel is bad only on 2 conditions. 1, you accidentally trigger Sandrock Super, which is slow and does hardly any damage. Or 2, you're on Death Side's Infinite Combo receiving end. Otherwise, the chances are you'll probably have a ball until Epion seizes you. I am referring to this because this game I'm reviewing, Colosseum, was requested by Expo Temkin in addition to other couple of games. It takes no skill to be cheap. I'll even put up a video link in the description. All you do in this game is jump up and attack your opponent and you can beat them into submission. At least with Gundam Wing Endless Duel, you had to memorize a few keys, you know, rather than doing one move, you're just doing a loop of maybe 5 or 6 moves. It's cheap, but hey, at least it took some kind of strategy, I guess. But that's strategy compared to this garbage. I'm sorry that MAME does not work properly on terms of the screen recording. That's why it looks so slowly. So I'll just fast forward this and you can see how terrible this really is. Oh, I just realized that with Windows Movie Maker I can just double the speed and it actually looks pretty much like regular time, so I guess you can see what it's really like. It's just terrible. This next game I'm reviewing is Atlantis no Nazo, a Japanese game for the NES, and it doesn't take much words to say that this sucks. So again, I get a Star Tropics 2 like rock and I throw it. What the hell? It bounced off the bird, did nothing, and I died. And here's something fun, the game literally takes a crap on you, which kills you. So that game literally showed you that it was crap with the birds taking a crap on you. This next game Expo Temkin showed me was Escape from Atlantis. Another terrible game. Apparently you have to follow a bird, and this reminds me of Frontline with these annoying footstep sounds. And the bird, I think, is practically impossible to get because it moves so much faster than you, and when you try to grab it, you slow down severely, and getting into these trees is frustrating enough, yet the bird could fly over it, so it's just an ordeal to get through. Just do yourself a favor and don't play it. And I just ran into the bird and nothing happens. Yeah, that's really great, you know. That's just a telltale sign of playing a terrible game when you're trying to get a bird and it can fly right by you. And the grab did nothing. That sucks. This next game is Fighting Masters. This terrible fighting game is very choppy. It is more choppy than the recording of my games on main. I'm not making this up. This isn't the recording that's having the problem. It's actually the game. So let's do the story here. Giant red sun will go nova within hours. 12-star systems inhabited by sentient beings will be destroyed. An omnipotent race known only as primary, more like secondary for how bad this game is, declare their power to save the civilization from extinction. To win the right to survive, each race must choose a champion strong enough. Oh, sorry, I skipped that. But pretty much, let's just say you gotta be strong enough to suffer through weak moves except for your throws and choppy animation. You can't even tell that the guys get up because of how bad it is. Just take a look at this. I'm gonna throw him in a moment, right? So I tripped him there and he goes, what the hell? It's like he just bounced off his ass and got up. Like right here, I throw him against the wall, and he just gets up and throws me back because I can't see him getting up. And he hits me before I can even react. And this is pretty much your game right here. Just don't play it. I think this game is one of the worst fighters I've ever played. It makes Gundam Wing Endless Duel look perfect, of course. Although that game, other than I guess the cheapness and Sandrock's useless super, is actually kind of fun. But just avoid this game. I think I'd say it's worse than Street Fighter 1, because at least that game they actually animated when the guys were getting knocked down, instead of having this crap where all you do is just throwing each other, or else you're gonna do 1 bar of damage. Whoa, that was a whole lot of bars right there that I just did, and he just hit me right back, and I just won by sheer luck. That game sucks. The next game is Defenders of Dynatron City. This game pretty much has 3 sets of reviews, I guess you could say. It is basically terrible, barely tolerable, or torturous. Playing as the dog is flat out torturous. Like Captain America's shield, if you're lucky and you got the guy exactly in the same line as you do, you'll hit the enemy. Otherwise, you won't. The next guy is whoever this guy is that fires his head. He has some rank, and that's pretty much torturous because you'll miss a lot with him. Although you do have a sidekick apparently, and this woman has some pretty decent names, so I guess that's barely tolerable. And if you chose Miss Megawatts, we'll show in a few moments, you can see that I think she has probably better aim, I guess. And she's a smaller target than that sidekick, so this game sucks. It's tough. Oh, I'm saving the worst for last. I know I've said a lot of games suck, but bear with me. We're almost done. This is one of the worst games I've ever played. Definitely the worst Gundam game, V Gundam, for the Super Famicom. Why is this game terrible? The tree blocks you, so that's a graphical flaw number 1. Number 2 is this game plays choppy. Your controls suck. When you jump, you have to press up and the jump button. You can't press up or else nothing happens. The head guns are terrible. It takes forever for me to get up here. What the hell is that crap? To fire your rifle, you have to aim by presetting, I should say, low, medium, or high with another button before you fire. And it's just flat out awful. You see with the beam gun there, not the beam gun, the head gun, it went right through the guy's head. What the hell kind of crap is that? It's supposed to be an accurate gun. Whew. And if you think this is bad, it gets worse. Seeing me shoot this bastard to death in the corner while the tree blocks me, it's just terrible. And I pretty much get gang raped by these damn purple robots here, There's no chance for me to have here. I'm getting sandwiched here. Try my lame sword slash, that's stiff. And these bad controls just crippling you. and you're getting shot up, you know, and I just realized you have a sword stab if you dash forward that way, and you're just gonna miss a lot and get shot up. Just play any game over this. It is terrible. It is the worst game I've reviewed here today. Do not play it. But Mr. Variant, what if you like Ys 4 Mask of the Sun's battle system? It still sucks. The collision can put you at a disadvantage because you can get stuck in walls. And this boss who disgusts me, I gotta hump his leg to win. This thing can become a liability because you can run into the obstacles. I died in this game because of the fact that I ran into the fire that appeared. If I had a sword slash, that wouldn't have happened. So this can lead to some deaths. So this game is just bad. And another problem with this game is the fact that I think that it was a dumb idea that they managed to put in the healing in the regular parts, but the dungeons you can't heal. And as you see here, this stuff is too expensive. Like that sword cost $1,500. I only had $1,400. I didn't level up against the boss. I have higher stats because I want to get better armor. And I gained a level. And here, you know, it's taking a while to kill these guys. Like I had to run into them, and I hit him like 10 times with the default stuff. And I killed 2 monsters, and I only got 46 gold. So it's 23 gold a monster. So that's terrible. I call this money games because you need to make a ton of money. You also have to buy the armor and shield, which is both $1,500. So that's terrible. And here's another money game, Dragon Warrior. You walk terribly slow. The menus are awful, and on top of that, you make no money. At least in Ys 4, you could buy the herb easily. But the herbs in this game cost about 24 gold, and you make 1 or 2 gold to fight. And with this menu here, you can't search the treasure chest, you have to take it. Otherwise, it'll tell you, it is a treasure chest. Yeah, thank you for telling me the obvious. This is just awful. This game is terrible. Don't play it. Don't play Ys 4 either, because I only hit the tip of the iceberg with what I said in my initial review of it. And here, you even have to choose the menu and go down the stairs. Yeah, that's fun. Whew, can't stand this game. This slow walking speed. I mean, this is terrible. Now here's a fight. Without any equipment, I do 1 damage to the red slime. But with the equipment, you cannot buy the stupid club because that only boosts your attack by 1. And even more worthless than the club is the bamboo pole, which they actually put in the game, but it does not raise your attack. I fought a blue slime before with the bamboo pole, and I did 1 damage with it, which is the same as before. And here's the damage I do with the club to the blue slime. Yeah, 2. I hit it twice, so this game just sucks. Garfield, Toys, and Heavy Nova were 3 games that I was unable to get onto live video, so I decided to make a lost reviews and bundle them together. The first game that's terrible is Garfield. First of all, when you jump and you attack, there's no animation, so you can't really tell that. Your kick has no range, and lastly, it's way too easy to get killed because everything kills you. And if you don't do the jump kick, which does not have any animation when you're in mid-air, you will get hurt. And that's almost impossible to time right there because you hit your head on the ceiling and you have no time to react. It's just flat out terrible. And that 1 life is just atrocious. This is Toys, which is another bad game because your weapons are useless. I mean, I think these are some of the most useless weapons I've ever seen in a game because the enemies are all a lot shorter than you, and your weapon, this peanut gun here, just sails over them. The upgrades aren't that much better either, so you really should just skip this game. And the last of these lost reviews, which I'm briefly going over, is Heavy Nova. And since I loathe this game most of all, I'm gonna go get my hands dirty and suffer. First of all, you cannot duck and attack. Next, you turn very slowly, like a truck, which is pretty lame considering you're a giant robot. You have a jetpack or whatever. The funny thing I find is that the jetpack, it makes you invincible in boss fights, but not in the regular levels. Well, I'm getting warned I'm gonna have a terrible boss fight, I guess. And this guy is pretty easy once you figure out how to beat him. You basically just jam him. He's pretty much helpless. Oh, thing that I forgot to mention is that those bars represent, it's like a power level underneath your health, and you're pretty much helpless when you run out. The worst part of these boss battles is that, yeah, it looks nice here, but in the second one, you'll see that the hit detection is terrible. Also, you'll become invincible when you're in mid-air. I mean, you gotta see that in the second boss battle that I showed you. And here's the next level. You do level up and learn moves throughout the game, but most of them are nearly impossible to get off consistently. So that's a huge flaw that will pretty much cripple your gameplay experience. This little box right here that I got that said level up. Yeah, you know, it would be nice if when you leveled up, they'd by some miracle boost up your hit detection and whatnot. But no, it's just terrible. And what's the point of having those things there other than to get hit, since you can't really dodge them in the first place? I'll never get that. Wow, I can't believe I'm actually able to dash through and I did dodge that thing over there. Well, on to the next boss fight. The thing that I find to be frustrating about this the most is the fact that you learn all these new moves and yet they're almost impossible to get off consistently. Like the throw, which I do, you have to be practically on top of your opponent. And this is just frustrating. The computer will cheese the hell out of you. But some miracle I did manage to win this battle. I'm gonna show. I just don't believe it. And even then, that throw, I lost, what, 4 bars? At least I'm able to generate yes. And this is just lame fighting. We're just throwing all these punches and missing. And as you see there, no one's getting hit. So I did that throw. And that if you have to be that close to throw someone, you know, without your arm being able to extend, it's just useless. You should never really count on getting that. The other ones I couldn't really get those off either. And this sucks too. When you get knocked down, you could get up and your back will be facing your opponent, which means you're pretty much screwed to get hit again. It's just terrible. And that dash move, I mean, yeah, it's nice that you're able to go faster, but it's hard to you can't really stop on a dime either. Plus, you can't attack while you're dashing. And I think that jump kick I did there is the same button input. If I get it off, you just need to be lucky to get off your moves to show how bad the controls are. You might get that or your dash, or you'll just miss them even though you're hitting them with how atrocious or terrible the hit detection is. And that is the Heavy Nova experience. Well, what do you know? I got up facing him. I don't even know how I managed to win this battle. I guess I just got lucky. Right here, I just overshot the opponent with the dash. Just made that sound. The damn mid-air invincibility is frustrating too. This is just a miserable experience. You're never gonna hit your opponent, it seems. And when you finally do, your opponent's gonna pop you like that. It happened right there. And now he's teasing me with this damn punching and crap. And he cannot duck and attack at the same time, so he could just throw a volley of punches and you're pretty much helpless. And that's that. Yep, I feel like Jay Sherman doing these reviews because it stinks. The next game I'm reviewing is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level. This is found for Super NES on the Super Mario All-Stars game. Alright, so you have basically, it's a harder version of the original basically, and there's that poison mushroom that you saw. Here's the first problem. The green trampoline is very useless. It hurts you because you can't tell when you're going to land or where you're going to land for that matter. They even put a warp zone here just to piss you off that'll go to the first level from the third level. Another thing I don't like about this game is that you gotta get yourself hurt a lot. Basically, when you're in the large form, it can be useless. And there's another thing, the invisible blocks get on my nerves too. these mazes. More of those leaps of faith. That's another aggravation. Like right there, I just screwed up. But how's I supposed to tell? I think you're supposed to basically run through the level sometimes, but sometimes you can't run through the level because you just saw here. You have all this crap coming at you. It's ridiculous. I mean, this should be happening in a game like Beetlejuice, not Mario. It's just pitiful. What the hell? I should have went to the ground, not the lava. I was pushing right. Here's the thing I was telling you about with that green trampoline. You can't tell where you're going to land, and you probably have to memorize when you're going to land. I think maybe it's in the middle of the screen. Well, here's a part that you'll enjoy. It's a whole lot of bullshit right here. Basically what happens here is that I run here thinking I get a secret or something like you do in some of the other levels, like in I think 5-2 or something like that. Yeah, 5-2 where I warp to 7. But look what happens here. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I keep running here and now I'm stuck. Again, this is just a real travesty to Mario. By the way, the difference between Mario and Luigi is that Luigi jumps higher, but he skids farther than Mario. Yep, even more annoying thing. Here's a leap of faith right here. I got lucky, but I couldn't stop myself in time. And as you saw, the red trampoline is equally a pain in the ass, because I couldn't even tell how far to gauge my jump, so you gotta memorize that. It's just very aggravating. Oh yeah, I stopped there basically to show you that if you don't get to the thing there, that would be where that Trooper was, you'll be going through an infinite loop. Well, here we go with some more bullshit. I got lucky here. I dodged the invisible block. That was right by the Hammer Brother, and once again I get punished by the size of my character. And here's some more bullshit. Another invisible block leading to my death this time. I got unlucky there. Well, here we go. A long corridor. This is just aggravating. I mean, it's annoying how inconsistent the tempo is, and they gotta time everything so perfectly, and it's just a real pain in the ass. I think this is one of the worst Mario games I ever played. Well, here we go. Got lucky there right by the Bowser, and I'm gonna try to gun it and hope I get lucky here, because there's a second Bowser. Alright! Whew, I just barely made it. That was a real close call. But to be honest, I never want to go through this game again. It's just too painful. I mean, they punish you with this power-ups, and it's just very aggravating. And there's a lot of cheap crap like the invisible blocks. Well, about time Luigi gets thanks instead of Mario. And more difficult, my ass. I'm not doing this again. Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games. Alright, the next game I'm reviewing is Kageki Fist of Steel. We know this sucks, so I'm not going to even use the critic intro. Alright, it's basically like a beat 'em up, and you got these 3 gangs, and I believe you have to pass through this building, all these floors. I only did 2 levels. I really can't take how bad this game is. Alright, let's begin with the first level. Alright, so you have basically a punch, and your jump really sucks. You don't even know which way he's going to go, you know. Where he jumps, nobody knows. And another problem with this game is the hit detection. You'll see that later on in this video at some point. At first I thought you only had one punch, but in the second fight I realized you have a power punch as well. But at least it's somewhat useful. But games like these basically run along the line of stuff like Wolfchild, where your stuff is very limited and the hit detection can be pretty bad at times. One strategy that I did realize is that you could back up and start attacking and you'll probably be able to beat the enemies pretty easily. Well, here we go with the fighting here. It's like we're trading shots. And we saw the hit detection can be kind of bad there. And it takes a long time for them to get up as well. And the worst part is going to come in a few minutes, I believe. Or a few moments. You saw the times I just missed there. It's what I like to call the sissy fights. Well, it's time to get this battle on. Alright, and this is basically all you have in your game. I really hate when games get so monotonous like this. And here we go. Gotta keep punching. And they got a lot of health too, these guys. So this really isn't fun. I was telling you about the backing away and hitting them. That's pretty much your easiest way to beat up these guys. Oh my god. So, you just knock them out with a quick flurry. This is just really boring. And now I gotta use that lame jump. And you can't even do a jump kick. What the hell is this? No jump kicks, and you can't even pick up the stuff in the background and hit them with like those barrels there. This is just pitiful. Oh, I beat him. And this is the one place this game should be, the sewer. I think it's the best part of the whole game. Just throw the loose into the sewer. Pile of garbage. Well, here's round 2. Alright, and I gotta beat up these goons here. And the positioning can be pretty hard to get your punches off right as well sometimes. Alright, here's the boss. Oh, what the hell kind of entrance is that? He doesn't even throw the thing at you or anything. What the hell is up with this game? Oh man, this is great sarcasm for this song. This song just makes this game look so laughable. You can't jump kick, and you're gonna miss a lot of the time with your attacks when they should hit because of how bad the hit detection is. And that's another thing I want to mention here is that the corners really can be pretty cheap sometimes. I got pummeled a couple of times here, so I got lucky, believe it or not, with that jump. Man, that is just cheap as hell. Oh, at least I had a power punch too. I can escape there. There we go with the sissy fights. Keep punching and missing. It's so bad. Just backing away, and that's the end of this fight. And another one goes into the sewer. Like I said, don't play this game. Throw into the garbage, or as you see in this game, the sewer. This game just flat out sucks and it's boring. Bad games, bad games. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games, bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games, bad games. This next game I'm reviewing is Herzog Zwei. The problems with this game I will show. One is that it controls as poorly as Heavy Nova. There are delays when you try to turn, or even when you just switch your robot into flight mode. You burn up too much gas, as I'm showing here, just to get to the enemy's base. It takes more than half a tank. Make that energy. And the dogfights, as you see, are just terrible because your plane outruns the bullets. I just don't believe this. Another thing I find annoying is that when you run out of energy, you die too. So I gotta fight here since I'm out of energy, and I didn't make any bases yet. And I find the bases in this game to be very annoying and repetitive. Another thing that's annoying is that when you do die, at least you have more than a life, but the problem is you don't even start out with a full tank of energy. But at least I guess you could use the time to make up these infantry troops, which, as you see here, slow your plane down pretty much to a little bit above a crawl. It's nice they put a map there. Another thing you want to do is that to make this game a little less tedious, you're going to have to build bases in the right place. Like this base I put over here, you're going to have to basically use that one rather than the base that's right next to you because it makes things annoying. You need 4 infantry units to take over a base, which I find to be pretty annoying. And I think if the enemy already takes over a base or something, you can't really destroy them other than by taking units from them. Like the red units are mine, the blue are the enemy, and you have to do it that way. So I find this game to be extremely repetitive too. And you have to fly also in order to carry the units, like the infantry, as well as fly over the water and stuff. So you're going to be burning a lot of gas. Like right there, I lost 2/3 of the tank. At least you recover at the bases, but still, this is just terrible. I have no idea how this game can be any good when you're moving this slowly and you have to return things so often. And then of course the fighting is just terrible, as I showed you. I was having flashbacks of V Gundam with how badly it controlled. Although I'd say Heavy Nova, as I said before, is probably another flashback with how it controls, since like when you turn, it takes a while to turn and it feels very stiff. So I got up to a point here where I got the 4 troops there, but there are enemies here. Like this enemy that got in there, how am I supposed to take it out? I guess I can't. So what I gotta do, I guess, is pretty much just shoot this thing up. Oh great, another one of these awful dogfights. I mean, just look at this, the planes are even bouncing off one another. Ugh. This game is just terrible. I'll give this one more shot at it though. Oh great, like I said before, you gotta wait for the damn thing to film. And now I gotta go back there and see how things are at that base I had that the enemy's trying to take over. Let's see how much stuff they took over here. Oh yeah, I remember this part where I wanted to... Yeah, there's the base. I got a little bit distracted. And they already got 3 of those things? That sucks. And I'm in another god-awful dogfight. I'm out of this. This game is terrible. Wish I could take over the base on my own. The next game I'm reviewing is Knuckle Joe. This game makes bad dudes look competent by comparison. The game is terrible. The sound, as you hear, is awful. And the biggest problem of the game, which I think makes it impossible for me to get anywhere, is that your jump kick sucks. In addition to the fact that you're practically trading punches with your enemies. Unlike with Bad Dude, where one shot would kill the enemies, or 2 if they were a little bit stronger, but they didn't have time to attack you after you hit them. even though I'm attacking as fast as I possibly can. I think that's your best chance to just button mash and hope you get lucky. When you block, your attack will basically make you fly backwards, and the jump kick is probably the worst jump kick I've ever seen in my entire life, because of the fact that you can only hit enemies that are above you, and you basically fly so far forward that you'll never be able to know what you hit. By some chance you might get lucky, but it's almost impossible to get off. I do think that this level, which I was struggling before, is pretty much nothing compared to the second level. I also forgot to mention the fact that when you die, it looks like the guy loses his head, which I find to be pretty weird. Here's the second level where I just gave up in after I died. The problem here, which you will see, is that this guy who's coming on the screen, he has a gun and he just sees me off there. And this jump kick, which reminds me of Muscle, with how bad it was to hit somebody, is just painful. It is just terrible, and I'm done. Hello, it's been a long time since I've last done a review. My next choice is Street Fighter. Yeah, this is a really dumb law. You are a criminal for playing this game, the world version of Street Fighter, in Japan. Speaking of dumb, I am no longer going to reply to stupid comments. I'm really tired of it, and that's just not going to happen anymore. Let's begin with World 1, or Fight. The problems with this game, as you see, is that basically it's hard to control. In other words, I do the moves correctly, and they just don't come out. I got my ass handed to me there, though, but I'll get even with this bastard. I did the strategy where basically I punched like crazy, hoping to get a fireball out. And apparently this game seems to be so broken you can't even block special moves, maybe. Or they take off a ridiculous amount of damage. Another thing that I found about this game is that it's ridiculous how choppy the fighting can get. Sometimes you don't know what the hell happens. Okay, the next fight. Round 3. Okay, here we go. And that's one thing I find weird about this game too, is the physics are pretty damn bad. I mean, I do a Shoryuken and the guy just flies over it. It's ridiculous. I just think that this game is terrible. I mean, I'd rather just play Bad Dudes than this, because at least in Bad Dudes, my moves worked. Anyway, here we go with Mike. Kind of looks like Balrog, I guess. Yeah. Fighting here. I'm trying to get my fireballs off, and because this game pretty much really sucks. I could get some success, but it can get hard sometimes because you can't get the damn thing off. It's ridiculous how it is. I mean, I thought before fighters can get pretty cheap because of infinites and whatnot, but when you're not even able to input the moves on a regular basis, when you're doing them correctly, that just flat out sucks. I mean, with other games, I guess if you play against an opponent that doesn't abuse it, the game can be a lot of fun. But, I mean, this game, no way. There's no way it could be fun, and I just died before I knew what the hell hit me. Okay, let's try round 3 here. The thing is that with this game, I don't even know how he dodged my fireball. I guess he could duck under it. I find that weird because I think of any of the other Street Fighter games, and you can't really duck under it. Although you could slide under it with Dhalsim, though. That's another thing I think that gets a little annoying, is that the quotes were a lot better in Street Fighter 2 also. I mean, they say the same exact things. I find it kind of weird. Anyway, let's try this again. So I'm fighting here. I think I got an advantage now. Here we go with the fireball. Okay, there we go. That's the thing I was talking about. I think you can really be cheap with the fireballs in this game. Although one time I saw in a video, I couldn't time it right though, because this damn game it controls poorly, so it's hard to get off the Shoryuken. And sometimes when I want to do a Hadouken, I'll get a Shoryuken like I did right there. This sucks. Anyway, a person had a full bar of life and they killed him in one shot with a Shoryuken. It's crazy. It hit multiple times. And that doesn't show you how broken the game is. Nothing. And when infinite combos in other games are bad, but when you're able to kill an enemy in one hit with one move, that just takes the cake, man. I just find it to be ridiculous. And what the hell? How did I get over there? It's like he warped or something. Man, this game sucks. Yeah, I screwed up here. I didn't know the yellow part meant that you use less power. Oh, it's no big deal. It's probably the best part of the whole game anyway. Alright, time to go to the next fight. And this is gonna be pretty fun. Then again, all these fights are hilariously bad, I think. Okay, so I begin the fight. Thing can get kind of choppy. And another thing I find ridiculous is when you hit him, the game goes into slow motion. It's really annoying. And I didn't even touch him and I hit him with the Shoryuken. So that means this game's hit detection sucks too. Either that or it's choppy. Frame rate screws things up so it doesn't look like I hit him, but I did. Oh man. I don't know how anyone could think this game is good. Yeah, this game sucks. I mean, at least it can be challenging, I guess, because of the crippled controls, as well as the fact that the enemies, they can actually hit you and beat you up before you know it hit you. It's absurd. Let's try again. This is gonna be my last fight, I think. Yeah, I really tolerate this game as much as I could. Although the flaws, I mean, it's hilarious. I think that's one thing that makes me tolerate some of the games I review more. When the flaws make me crack up, like in this game, rather than be outright horrible, like in another game. Yeah, any of the other short reviews I did, let's say Tag Team Wrestling, for example, yeah. I don't really have the patience to put up with that, but still, this game sucks, though. But at least watching it can be hilarious with how bad it is. Here we go. Sure, you can, okay, so I mean, he dodged that? Okay. Here we go, the game's trying to play choppy again. I remember something like this on the Capcom Classics Volume 2 version. I doubt it's in the out there. Because it didn't go like this with the other. And here goes Cheese on damn ninjas. How cheap is that? Keep throwing them. How did I just win that? Anyway, I'm done with this. Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games. My next review shall be Frontline, one of the worst games I've ever played, and yet again, like in Super Pitfall, the guy dies in the intro, which I find to be absurd. So, with this game here, even with the intro, you can tell that it's terrible. The trees look like crap, there's no music, these footsteps are annoying, you walk slow as hell, and it's hard to shoot the enemies, which reminds me of Star Tropics 2. Funny enough, I did play this just to see how 2 players is, and you actually swap turns instead of having co-op, so that sucks too. And also, believe it or not, when you hold the start button, you actually move straight forward. So that means you cannot pause the game. So you will suffer at any possible time. So I continue moving forward into this because I wanted to see what happens if I can actually clear a level. And as you see there, my bullets that cannot go past the trees. But at the end of the video, you'll see that the enemy shoots me, his shot goes right through the tree, and I think they can go right there. I mean, what the hell was that? The next game I'm going to be reviewing is SWAT Kats for the Super NES. These guys just love to make games based on anything popular. I'm going to use T-Bone, and you're going to see how bad this game is. Well, at least you have a stage select like with Mega Man. Well, here's the intro of the stage. I'll just skip that. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so I got a rocket launcher. Seems alright. And what the hell was that? That red thing really sucks, but at least it hurts the enemies. It's just what? This thing is just terrible. That red thing, but at least you can duck while you're shooting. And the rocket launcher just sucks. I'm surprised when it happens in Go-Go 13 with a jump kick, but with the rocket launcher, it just makes even less sense. I'll try on an enemy that's small. Like, it didn't even work on that thing, and that thing's not even the size of this cat's tail. It's ridiculous. I just don't get this. And this is another problem with this game, is that they'll put ladders that you can't even climb. I tried pressing up and nothing happens. This game is just embarrassing. I can't stand it. I went through a couple of levels, but it's just ridiculous. You got the rocket launcher that won't work on enemies that are big or small, and that other gun really sucks. Why not just make it a sword? I mean, the enemies, some of them can even outrun it, like that little slime in a later part in this level. I showed that. Well, you can climb walls. I guess that's somewhat interesting, but not really. Alright, let's continue with this. And this is basically your game right here. There are flying scenes as well, but those are really bad. I'll get into that later. Well, there's a death trap of water there. At least it's not shallow unlike some games. And this is what I mean about that rocket. It freaking sucks. The one that can hurt enemies. This thing's just out of range. This is horrible. I can't stand this. This is just aggravating. They're gonna make a weapon where the guy's just out of range and he's not even on the edge of the screen. I'm in the middle of the screen, the guy's not even on the edge, and my weapon goes out of range. This is just so bad. And of course, the fact that you can't really aim that red rocket, which is the only weapon you'll be using in this game, hurts as well, since the enemies can come down on you diagonally and you can't really do anything about it. Okay, this is going to be a third part of first level. Okay, we got some new enemies that seems a little stronger. I also noticed you level up, but if you thought leveling up was going to make your rocket better, that would be the one that goes a far distance. No, I just don't get it. They could have made the rocket a weaker weapon, but I guess that would make too much sense. It's just so stupid how these developers can do anything. Maybe they just make these games on something popular just to rub it in the face of any fan. There's no excuse for how bad this game is. That's one thing I can't stand about a lot of these games. They make useless weapons. What's the point of putting it in the game when you can't even use it? Like that rocket launcher in this game. I just don't get it. Well, he meets his friend Razor, and now we're gonna show you the flight scenes in this game. And if you thought this was good, you're dead wrong. First of all, I thought you could fire at that enemy you're flying towards, but no. I guess that would make too much sense. Another problem with this is that your missiles are really gonna miss a lot. I tried this a bunch of times, and your best bet is pretty much just dodging the enemies. You can't even hit their snot, I guess, whatever those green things they fire later on, and it's just not even worth it. This game really isn't worth playing. If you're a fan of the television show, please don't endure yourself into this torture. I've been fans of quite a few games I reviewed, you know, like Hulk or Spider-Man, Mario, but not the Lost Levels, of course. And then there is some of the stuff that I use on my text reviews as well. It just gets on my nerves. Well, here's some more of these flight scenes. And your best bet, I'm forced here, is to just hide in the corner, and I just got shot there. Alright, I'm gonna try this again. Good thing SNES can rewind though. Got shot a few times. Well, I finally made it, and this boss fight's annoying. You have these things that are just spinning all the time. Well, here's the second level. The boss battle is just really long and annoying, so I basically skipped that. And this level's really annoying too. Basically, you have this acid rain that makes you slip when you barely move, and it's very annoying. And on top of that, for a while I got a little stuck here because you couldn't jump on the platform, and I realized that you could just climb the wall. But this game is just really annoying. It's just aggravating. And how come the rocket has a cool explosion when it hits the wall, but it bounces off all the enemies in this game? Next time I die, I'm gonna quit this game. This is just frustrating. I can't stand this. You have a level up system in this game, and the same useless weapon is always useless. And what the hell was that? You shoot the enemy, and then it goes into the smaller form that you can't even shoot him afterwards. And like usual, the rocket sucks. You gotta wait for him to reform. This is just ridiculous. I really think that no one should even try playing this game. This is just an exercise in frustration. It's just bound to make anyone mad who plays this game. Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they are so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games. The next game I'm reviewing is Fist of the North Star for the Game Boy. I used the intro for one of the best pieces of the music in the anime. So the music sucks. That's one floor right there. The second floor is Ray from the anime is not even there, but you have all these guys like Heart, for example, who weren't even in that many episodes. And as you see here, the next floor of this game is that your hit detection sucks, so it makes your rapid punch completely worthless. And on top of that, every time you hit someone, they go flying 3 feet, so you're not going to be comboing anybody anytime soon. And this game also has a type of experience system, but it just boosts your stats. You're not going to learn anything new. And worst of all is that when you kill enemies, you don't make their heads explode. So that makes any kind of enjoyment based on a fan for this game to be completely impossible. Just do yourself a favor and don't play this crap. This review is a special request by Barber747, Treasure Master. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is a reason that you should be thankful that modern games are easier. Difficulty, when it comes in a cheap way, a poorly implemented difficulty like in this game, or the lost levels, I have to say it's really bad because it detriments from the amount of fun that you can have with the game. The problem with the game is basically the fact that you only have 3 lives for one thing, and you get hit 4 times, you die. But if you run out of the 3 lives, the game's over. But that's not the first major problem. The first major problem, as you see there, is that when you jump over the top of the screen, you'll pretty much teleport. I guess that's the word, since you go to a new screen, and the enemies will respawn. And my first weapon are these shoes. Let's see what happens. What the hell? I jump kick the enemy, and I'm the one getting hurt. This is even worse than Gold 13. I mean, I go like this to my enemies. Fear my Timberlands! And I'm the one who gets my ass kicked by stomping on a bug. Speaking of which, this game I think is the most counterintuitive game I have ever played in my life. I do think though that it's not one of the worst games I've played, because the second level makes things kind of playable. I mean, this kick, you have to time it perfectly. In other words, with that caterpillar there, I have to basically kick it right at the tip of the forehead or the back, and I won't get hurt. I do find it kind of cheap how you have these bugs dropping boxes on you, and the fact that the caterpillars have boxes. Another thing, as I said before, this game is counterintuitive. You gotta learn when to use these items to get other items. Like the bomb here. I mean, that made some sense, but the second bomb didn't make any sense at all. I'll show that later on, though. And, I think this kick, I think, is the reason why some people probably can't stand going past the first level. Anyway, let's just skip ahead a bit. The submarine I thought was actually kind of fun, to be honest. I mean, I've played worse games. I think of Tailspin when I was only able to fire 1 shot at a time. That was terrible. Fortunately, the sharks are easy to avoid. And another problem with this game that I noticed is, I know I haven't beaten it, but apparently there are no health recovery items, so it pretty much makes this game close to impossible. See, I'm able to fire 3 of these at a time, and it takes 2 sets. I do like that, though. That's one thing that annoyed me in Star Tropics 2 when I was throwing those rocks. I did progress in that game, though, after I reviewed it, just to see if the axes were much better, but they're like bigger rocks, so I didn't really feel like playing that anymore. Anyway, the fact that you can throw multiple at a time is pretty good. And even though I got stuck here, you just hold down and right the diagonal there, and you can continue going. So I don't think the controls for the submarine are really that bad. And here's the next part here. The platforms, I mean, fortunately you can memorize them easily, and you do see the platforms like the later levels of Mario the Lost Level, so I can find that forgivable. So I got the bomb. What I have to do here is get the scissors. Believe it or not, the place that you cut with the scissors, which I will show, if you use the bomb, it will not blow up the cable. You have to use the scissors to get rid of the cable, which I think makes no sense at all. The bomb should be able to do that. I got stuck there for a while. That's one thing about this game. You will get stuck. And another thing that sucks is that the bomb takes a while to detonate if you get there early. Otherwise, it'll blow up on its own. It would have been nicer if they made it a remote bomb, so you wouldn't have to waste time. Well, at least emulators have fast forward. Now, that's the thing that I have to use the scissors for, to take that enemy out. And there is the emergency oxygen. And this is another counterintuitive thing. You see here, I'm losing oxygen while I have the emergency oxygen equipped. You'll never guess how you use it. It's not automatically. That would make too much sense, I guess. But basically, what you have to do is that you have to button mash to use it. That's why it's refilling. I just don't get it, you know? It's just ridiculous. But I guess maybe in those days people read their manuals more. So I guess I could forgive that maybe. And this is what the hard hat is for, hitting your head against the spikes without getting killed. And here's another problem with the game. The ropes are also counterintuitive. You will slide down the ropes for a little while. Plus, I push left and I turn the opposite way. I turned right over there. That doesn't make any sense. Another thing though is that with these ropes you can't grab it from the bottom. I almost died there because of how aggravating this control setup is. It's just terrible. Although I did keep playing this game, I just wanted to see if any weapons were better. There are two ways to get past this key part, though. One is walking by, and the other one's using that mushroom-like thing. And believe it or not, the mushroom actually has a gun. But the worst thing about this is you press down and B to use it. It should be automatic, or you just press B or whatever. No, it's down and A. Sorry, it's down and jump. Sorry, I got that button mixed up. And since you're bouncing around, it makes it even harder for you to avoid the enemies. So that's really annoying. Oh, well, at least my rapid kick can work on the flying enemies. But there is no invincibility barrier when you get hit. So you will get killed a lot in a cheap way, so that's what made the invincibility barrier good, so you'd at least have some time to react after you get hit. That would be pretty good. But anyway, I finished this level. I kind of like the second level, but the main problem that made me quit this game is the fact that once you run out of bullets for your gun, yes, you do have a gun, and it's actually pretty darn good. You cannot refill the bullets. I looked on a guide on game FAQs, and you probably will need game FAQs to know what to do next with this game, else you'll probably get lost. And it said, apparently, that you get another ray gun in the 6th level. So, while it doesn't look like I'm expending much firepower, it adds up eventually. Remember, this is only the 2nd level, and it looks like so far I used half. I skipped a while to get to this area where I had to use these glasses. And that was another thing that was counterintuitive. And this part I thought was kind of fun, but it's really hard too. Basically, you can trample the enemies with this tank, and it has a gun, so you know you can use it, so that makes sense. So there's nothing really counterintuitive here, fortunately, but you can get killed pretty easily. Another thing I wanted to say is that the ending for this game really sucks. I read for it on Game FAQ, so I'm not going to even bother beating it because it's not worth doing. I'll put it on the screen. And I got cheesed off there. It's taken me a while, but I found a collection of games to review. Ys 3 Wanders from Ys, or as some people call it, Ys, which is this one here. I'll be doing Ys 4 shortly. I'll compare that to Hidlight, and then I'll do StarCroppix 2, Zones of Revenge. I shortened down the intro. Basically here, the animals act wild, and Adol and his friend Dogi go to Dogi's homeland, and basically what happens is that they find something wrong with the animals also, as well as the miners. That was an interesting cutscene though, but it's so misleading. I hate it when games do that. Basically the cutscene looks cool, but the gameplay is just really bad. It's like a terrible version of Zelda 2. The worst thing is it's on the SNES, so that makes it look even worse. Basically, the game, I mean, it starts off like it has a nice speed, but your attacks, they don't even stun the enemies. It's like you hit one of the guys and they'll just keep going after you. You'll see right here, like when I hit the ant here. I mean, fortunately, it's kind of weak, but you saw that, right? The damn ant freaking continues moving after I stab it. And if you think that's bad, no, the downward stab is even worse. What the hell is the point of that move? You're gonna make a downward stab where you get hurt. What the hell is up with these developers? I just don't get it. It makes no sense at all. It's just a terrible battle system. But if you think this is bad, you gotta see Ys 4. I'm gonna show this for a little while longer. This is just terrible. The fact that an NES game like Zelda 2 can actually have a superior battle system to this, and they play kinda similar. I'm just surprised. Usually, most people would think that later systems, it's not fair to compare them to earlier ones, but they're wrong. I mean, look at this. I stabbed the guy, and I freaking died. What the hell? Here's Ys 4, Mask of the Sun, and this is the worst battle system I've ever seen in my life. Basically, you just run into the enemies, and you gotta basically clip them. If you run at them head on, you lose health. and when you clip them, you can damage them. What were they thinking? This is horrible. But then again, look at Hidline. I'm going to show it right now. Now, these are graphical flaws. When you cannot tell what's going on because of the graphics. Like in Ys, you couldn't tell that you were hitting the enemy. In Hidline, you can't tell if you're fighting them because there's no battle animation unless you realize that when you hold the button and you change it to attack mode that it says attack, you can't tell what's going on. It's just horrible. I stand correct about Ys. This is worse. And for my final game, Star Tropics 2, Zoda's Revenge. Basically, as the book shows here, you slip to another time and space. You basically go into another world, but this game is so bad, I just feel like I gotta review this. I mean, maybe it gets better if you continue, but you gotta see how horrible this game is. I started from a load game because the intro's pretty long, and I didn't feel like it was really worth showing. Basically, the guy says there are a lot of holes. I walk 2 steps and I fall through the floor again. They just love these damn floors. And how you kill these enemies? Use rocks. Games and rocks do not mix. We've seen that with Dark Castle, as well as many other games. Friday the 13th. I bet the people watching this could probably name more games. And look at the problem with the rocks. They hardly go anywhere. In my first review, Arcade's Revenge, I complained that Gambit's grenades didn't go far. But that's a mile compared to this crap. And look at this game. So I finished killing the bear, and look what happens. I walk another 2 steps, and I hit the damn thing again. What the hell? This is terrible. And here we go with the rocks. You can fire in 8 directions, but it's hard to aim. And when you hit them, they don't slow down that much. It's just like with Ys 3, where I kept stabbing them, and they kept on going after me. What the hell? This is just a bad game. It's not, I don't feel it's even worth continuing to see if the other weapons are better. I mean, I see 3 slots there, so there are probably other weapons. But if you can tolerate this crap, I guess maybe you could tolerate anything. And again, 3 steps in the freaking hole. You can't tell these holes from anything else. Again, with the graphical flaws. When you can't tell the graphics, that's when there's a problem. Not when the graphics don't look like better or more lifelike. That's not that much of a problem. It was like with SWATcast, where I couldn't tell the wall was in the foreground or that ladder was in the background until after. It took me a while to take that. And I'm done with this. Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games. Alright, so the next game I'm going to review is Tag Team Wrestling. This is made by Data East, just like Ring King, and they both really suck. With Ring King, you basically healed by grabbing one another, and you even healed faster by having your manager or that little midget give you a blowjob. Yeah, I know, it's a really disturbing game. Well, back to the review with the Tag Team Wrestling. Alright. I thought this game was even worse than Muscle because, I mean, your punching, I think, is even harder to do. And they made it so that the punch button and the grapple button is the same. But the thing is that it's hard to really know when your punch is going to get off or when you'll be able to grab them. It took me a while to figure that out. Your other button, apparently, is your tag button. Why they couldn't just make it when you press down right when you're right by your partner, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it should have been a punch and a grapple button, and then just press it down when you're by your partner to switch. Because the tag button is completely useless when you're not around your partner. I just don't get that at all. Well, it took me a while to get the controls, at least partially. And you see them dancing as they win. I think it's ridiculous, but let's continue. Okay, so I finally got a move off. I think the moves are kind of random, to be honest. I mean, that's another thing too. When you do that Irish whip, it's hard to tell who did it to whom. Well, I just flew out of the ring right there, and now I'm just body slamming the hell out of him. And it's like as soon as he gets up, so you can tell this game is kind of cheap. But that's just how it is. Also, one thing I would like to notice that caused me to lose is that I did go back into the ring and then I hopped out. And even worse here was that I pressed up before it went to 20 and I didn't even go up there. I guess I can't jump in the area that he's in, but that just doesn't make any sense at all. Well, I tried one more time against this, and I don't know how I knocked him down there, but at least that helped me a little bit. Well, I tagged my guy, and I just drop kicked him there. Alright. And this is another thing that I find weird about this game. I'm able to get more slams when I'm outside of the ring than when I'm in the ring. I don't know why it was easier for me to do that. I just find that to be very strange. Alright, so back to the ring. Alright, so I managed to get a body slam off. But yeah, it's the same thing, man. It's just annoying. Although I find that weird though, with some of the Irish whips, we both ran, but with the one that I did with that masked wrestler with the gray mask, only the computer ran, which I found kind of strange. Now I gotta hurry up before I lose like I did in the second round. Oh well. Well, I switched in, and yeah, that's the thing I was talking about there. I mean, I just don't get this at all. Well, here we go with that thing again with the punching. I really don't like the fact that they made the punch and the grapple the same button, because it's hard to really get the punch off when you want to, or the grabbing. Plus, as I said before, it's kind of hard to punch your enemy because you don't really have much range. And now he's just comboing me, and he pretty much beat me right there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review.
Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games.
This review was requested by Why the Heck Do I Care? This game is Super Pitfall. And get this, in the intro of the game where they automatically playing, the guy dies. So that's a pretty bad old man right there about this game. In this game, the main problem with this game is that you cannot duck an attack, and that's the cheapest way to get killed I've ever seen in a game. I just don't believe how bad that was as soon as I go down the ladder. Man, what a frustrating game this is. Another problem with this game that I don't like is the fact that you cannot jump off the ladders, and that just led to another cheap death. I'm telling you, don't play this game. It's just atrocious. I mean, I can't believe how bad that is. Another thing about this game that really frustrates me is the fact that not only is it that you have to prevent yourself from getting killed by, I guess, running away from the enemies, your jumps can also kill yourself too. So you cannot jump on the enemies. So that means that that's out. Shooting them for the most part is out, and you're screwed no matter what you do. Oh, I want to show one last scene too. At the beginning of the game, if you go down the first ladder, you can't move while you're in midair, and if the bird doesn't kill you, the spikes will. Cheapest death ever. This next game I'm reviewing is the Tai Muteki Raikino, which is known as Absolute Incredible Raikino for the Game Boy. It was a Japanese game, and this game I found to be worse than Fist of the North Star for these reasons. First of all, as you see there, I can't jump on those bricks to make this an escalated battle. The boss, all he does is backpedal. It's a fighting game. I have this punch with this robot here. The animation is terrible. The jump looks horrific, and every time I try to punch him, the hit detection messes up as well. And worst of all is the fact that I just died and the note continues. Now when you play the game, you realize that when you press select, you open up a bunch of menus. The menus let you do your moves, which I find to be inexcusable in a fighter. Even Fist of the North Star for Game Boy had much better controls than this, and the hit detection is a problem. The repetitive fights are annoying too, with this boss that backpedals a few steps and fires. The body parts are useless, as you see here. This bird's gonna get hit, and I have really no real chance to do anything. I'll try the other body part. Get this rhino or cat or something, lizard-like. Now I combine, which I think is the best part of the game, which are these still shots for the Game Boy. And now I'm just attacking and fighting here, and it's the same crap. Now I try weapons. The gravity wave is completely worthless. It's not even damaging him, and it hurts me over time. So there's really no point in using that. The shield and the flash are nice, but you only have 2 shots of the flash, and the shield is only once, which isn't fair because this guy can throw rocks all day. And the sword here pretty much has terrible hit detection, though I suppose that with the sword you basically need to use it, because I guess if they let you use the flash and the shield all day, it would be too easy to win. But this game is horrible nonetheless. I really don't think anyone should bother playing this, because all the second guy fights the same way as well, in which all he does is just backpedal and attack you while you're trying to get off some hopefully useful attack and hope the hit detection doesn't mess up on you. Thanks for watching. The next game I'm reviewing is Tailspin for the NES. This game is the worst bullet shooter I've ever played in my life. At least the text moves fast for this story bit here. Unlike with Bad Dudes, that was just really slow. Anyway, what makes this game so bad is you can only fire 1 bullet at a time. I'm not making this up. That's just how bad it is. So if you miss an enemy, you're screwed. It's just terrible. Well, here's Don Carnage here, and he gets to fire 3 bullets. Wonderful. And then he just runs away after 2 seconds. I don't get the point of that. Anyway, you could flip your plane, but that lets you change your direction. It helps you get things on the other stuff, but it's such a pain anyway. And I think it's kind of useless here too. You can shoot a little bit diagonally. Yeah, you can shoot diagonally by pushing straight up or straight down. And here's another problem with this game. You'll see it later in the video. One of those boxes with a balloon attached, that's gonna screw you up because you can only shoot 1 bullet at a time, and right there, oh wow, I didn't shoot it that time, but later on I did. Right there, if a power-up pops up, you shoot it, and you miss the enemy, and then you get hit. It usually takes 3 hits to kill. Anyway, this is the part here I was talking about, but I think this is pretty lame where you're able to flip over and turn around since the thing's gonna scroll. You can die by scrolling, by the way. So I collect these packages and whatnot. Okay. We're going more of this stuff. Alright. This game has to be really hard because of this. And right there, I just got killed. I screwed up. Okay, let's try that again. So kill that enemy. Alright. Shot that one, yes. Okay. Looks like I got a little rhythm going on. Okay, so I'm shooting these guys at the right. Damn it! You saw that, right? The power-up popped up and took the bullet for the enemy. And since you can only fire one bullet in the game, that means that you're screwed. I just got hit there because I couldn't fire again in time. That's why I think this makes this the worst bullet shooter I've ever played. And again, the power-up screwed me over. I've never played a game in my life where the power-ups are hazardous to you. Well, maybe the lost levels, since getting bigger in such a small area in terms of safety does hurt you. And again, I died. Alright, let's give this one last shot. Okay, so I'm shooting the enemies. I gotta be like a marksman here. Shooting them. Okay, so I got them there. I think I might be able to go somewhere this time. So long as I don't get screwed over by those boxes. And my mistake, I call them power-ups. They're not even power-ups at all. It's food. Now, isn't that just terrible? They're not even power-ups. What the hell? That's just horrible. I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't any power-ups in the whole game. This is, as I said before, the absolute worst bullet shooter I've ever played in my life. The thing I complained about in Go-Go 13, where the enemies come up from behind you, that's nothing. At least you were able to shoot multiple times before the bullet either hit the enemy or went off the screen. Well, here's the boss, the submarine. This boss is really hard, obviously, since I can only shoot him once. I can only hit him when I'm going diagonally. And this is just really aggravating. I really don't think anyone should try this game. It's definitely one of the worst I've ever played. And out of all the bullet shooters, the absolute worst, as I've said before. Alright, just gotta keep dying for a little. Damn it! I got killed. You can also do continues, but I'm not gonna even bother with this game anymore.
Bad games, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they rip off you? These games, they all so bad. All they ever do is make me mad. At first I expected these games to be great. That's what I expect from the money they make. Some games were cool at first, but after a replay I realized they're the worst. Bad games. Some games started off on the right track, but I think now that the developers will crack. If you're wondering why I review this crap, it's to help prevent you from getting a heart attack. Bad games.
As requested by Apache Man 2K, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. I'd say this game is about as bad as Menace Beats, but I'll let you be the judge of that. I'd say pretty much everything, yes indeed, everything about this game is atrocious. As you see there, I had a little trouble picking up the bombs, but at least it's possible, and it's pretty cheap how they make some of them explode. My next complaint is they recycle boards way too much. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And the bombs, they don't detonate upon impact. And as you see there, he respawns, and it takes too many hits to kill him. Although, are you really killing him? Anyway, the only reason I was able to dodge those bombs was because I made a dash for it. Otherwise, you'll get hit every time. And as you see with the mountains, you can't really climb the smaller one that looks like you can, so that's a graphical flaw. Another thing about this game is that your horn rush will get you hurt, so it makes that pretty much useless. So you have the bombs that you lob over the head of these tiny rodents, which will beat your ass. And this game, as I said, it's pretty painful. I mean, look how many times I hit the damn rat! He's a third of my size! That's just insane! How many hits it takes to kill him. is just terrible. I'm gonna continue with this for a little bit longer. I mean, this just sucks. Pretty much, you gotta avoid these enemies, and these things are